What's up, TikTok? This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Now, you know I love North American history, particularly when it has to do with melanated people. So this is a book called The American Nations of Outline of the General History, Ancient and Modern by C.S. Rafinsque. Now, I'm a firm believer we got to teach our own history because particularly here in North America, they've been getting it wrong. They've been picking and choosing what they want to teach. They've been creating their own narratives. And so we have to go back into the libraryofcongress.org, which I got this book and downloaded, and read what explorers had said besides Christopher Columbus about who we are in the 16th, 17th, and 1800s. It says right here, the origins and the annals of the Black nations and of the American nations were two subjects quite obscure and neglected, or at least known, or the history of mankind. Nobody has undertaken as yet the history of the Negro nations, a labor so difficult and so luckless as to be despised. They're feeling some kind of way, because of the abundance already here and trying to figure out an already established content. It just seemed like it was hard for them to grasp what was happening over in the Americas and how it could become a place full of abundance and buildings and bricks and stones, and they didn't know about it. Let's read some more. It is as certain that America contained anciently, it's been here for a long time, as even now a crowd of distinct nations and tribes. We can see that the melanated in North America are a little bit different than the melanated in the South, are a little bit different than the melanated in the West, the way that we dance, the way that we dress, the way that we talk, very similar but distinct nations and tribes, some which were quite civilized, perhaps as much as the Spaniards led by Columbus. Now, when you think of the Spaniards, you're thinking of travelers, you're thinking of royalty, you're thinking of kings, you're thinking of traders. So they're saying that tribes are very sophisticated and had a certain organization and a structure to life. The others were more barbarous, but not entirely savage. Whenever I hear this, it just means they were warrior races. Some of these tribes are warriors. They ain't talking to you, they ain't dealing with you, and don't come near their tribe, period. But not quite savage. They just didn't all out attack you. They would tell you, keep it moving. The real savages in America, dwelling in woods without social ties. There weren't many people who weren't in houses. Most of them were wandering tribes of fishermen or hunters, and they're talking about the few. So that would explain how the melanated Indian here in America knew how to farm, because they were staying on their own land with their own houses. They already created towns where they lived. That's what that means. There were few nomads. They were more stationary people. This is what we look like. There were formerly in America as now, as like 2023, tribes of all complexions, as elsewhere. Yellowish, like me, olive, coppery, towny, reddish, brownish, white, and even blackened or Negro-like. That's why it's a shame in America. Melanated aboriginals that we have colorism. We always produce this without the interference of YT people. So let's stop that slave narrative. He goes on to say that tall and dwarfish men from 8 to 4 feet in size, called giants and pygmies, men with various frames, skulls, and features, all the sorts found in the Eastern Hemisphere. The American had long before Columbus large cities built of stone, bricks, wood, with walls, ditches, temples, and palaces. This was America before colonization. Over here are buildings, are homes made of stone over here, and they stretch for miles. Of course, we talk about the mounds a lot. Right here, possibly a place where they worshiped, had their temples. This is located across the Mississippi River from the modern day St. Louis. It was the largest pre-Columbian city north of Mexico. And up here, the Cahokia was a city that at its peak from 1050 to 1200 AD. And we know 188,000 Africans are recorded on slavejourney.org coming over to the Americas. But millions of melanated Americans that look just like me and just like you were living just like